So last night, the New York Knicks ended up falling short to the Detroit Pistons, 124 to 119. This is one of the craziest losses of the year considering the circumstances. The Knicks shot 40.5% from three and 50 from the field and still found a way to lose this game. Just two very, very poor quarters. Of course, the first one giving up 37 points, and then in the third quarter, giving up 36 points. The Knicks did have 37 in the second, but they split the fourth. So when you give up two bad quarters and you don't have two great quarters, you're not going to be able to win. Cade Cunningham went absolutely off as he's been doing of late, 36 points. 14 to 27. The real issue in this one, though, was off of the bench. Malik Beasley was 6 of 8 from 3 for 22 points. It almost seems like every single game, some random guy ends up scoring on the Knicks and erupts for a big time performance. I know Beasley's a solid role player, but I mean, come on, guys. His shots were wide open, especially that final one that doomed the Knicks. He was just in the corner. Hardaway swung it. Cat got out there late. Of course, he was down in the paint, and the Knicks were just a step slow. I mean, they had a game against the Bucks yesterday that 2 days ago when you guys are listening to this, they ended up winning that. But then on the back-to-back, they looked a step slow. There was a lot of good, but overall, a loss is a loss. I thought Josh Hart had a great game, grabbed 14 rebounds, had 12 points. He was phenomenal. Brunson had 31 and 11. Cat had 26 and 12. I mean, when you get that big of a performance from your stars, you're supposed to win the game, but the Knicks just fell short. OG had 10. Mikal Bridges had 27 points on 6 of 8 from 3. The bench, you get 10 points from Cameron Payne. He had one of those games where he was just feeling himself. He was on, but just nothing outside of that. Just 3 and 17 minutes from McBride. Shamit in 4 minutes was a -5, didn't score. Precious had 0 points in 10 minutes. We saw Jericho Sims was out with an injury. He is being shopped. He'll probably be traded before the deadline, and then that's going to be it. So the Knicks only playing 4 guys off of their bench, off of a back-to-back, just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, every starter played 37 or more minutes. I just don't know how this team is going to be able to make a deep playoff run when they're being asked to do a little bit too much. And the Pistons are playing great ball. I mean, they're 21 and 19 now. They've got a good team. They're in the playoff picture. They're the A seed. It's just one of those games where the Knicks shoot it very well, but they just gave up more than they ended up getting. I mean, the Pistons shot 44.1% from three, 50% from the field, which is just unbelievable. I mean, you would have thought, any other night the Knicks win this, but it was just like one of those early season games where the Knicks are scoring, but they're giving up a lot of points. Like the Boston game, for example, they were red hot from the field, but they lost. They gave 132. The Bucks, or not the Bucks, sorry, the Hawks game gave up 121. The Pacers game is a good example. They gave up 132. It's just nights like this show why the Knicks have been struggling of late. It's been the defense, because the Knicks usually tend to transition their defense into their offense, and they just weren't able to do that. They were able to knock down their shots, and Brunson had a great game. Like I said, Bridges had one of his best games as a Knick. Cat was phenomenal, but you're just not going to be able to win giving up 44% from three. And the Knicks also, they don't really take a lot of threes as well. They've shot it well this season, but they just don't take many. So that's another thing to take into consideration. But it just blows my mind where the Knicks were back at the start of January. It looked like this team was, absolutely just going to win it all, 9 straight games, on the road against OKC, outplay them for 3 quarters. And just since then, we're talking about, 5 losses in 7 games. I mean, the Knicks have 2 wins literally in their last 7 games. Like, it's just crazy to think that that's actually a thing, but it is. That's just the unfortunate reality surrounding this basketball team right now. But I mean, I'm not giving up. Like, I'm not losing faith. I mean, they play again on Wednesday. Hopefully, they can pick up a win. But I mean, the Knicks right now, I mean, they're currently the 3 seed. I don't know how. They did win 9 in a row. I'll give them that. But just since then, they've been so sluggish. But 3 games lead against the Orlando Magic. Thankfully, the rest of the East outside of the Knicks, Celtics, and Cavs have been not bad by any means, but just not amazing. Like the West is definitely the more tough conference right now. I mean, you look at the number 5 seed is the Mavericks, and they're 22 and 17, which goes to show. So the Knicks being 26 and 15. Of course, I mean, they still would be the 3 seed, but so I guess it's not really much of a difference. They'd be the 3 seed in both conferences, but it's just more compact. Like the Lakers are 20 and 16 as the 6 seed. The 6 seed in the East is 20 and 17. So I don't know. It's not. I mean, it's pretty similar, I guess, if I'm being honest with you. But I don't know. I just feel like the East started off very slow. I mean, even the Knicks were 4-5 at one point. But in the Bucks, of course, we're under 500 by a wide margin, but they've been winning too. They've been playing a lot better. We just saw them. I mean, and they weren't that much of a threat to the Knicks. But I just think the Knicks are a couple of pieces away from being able to compete for a championship. I do think that the bench needs to be upgraded. Right now, you look at, like I said, four guys coming off of the bench. Mitchell Robinson will make five when he returns, but they do need a wing. I think the Knicks need a wing because Bridges, he's playing the most minutes in the league. OG's top five in minutes. Josh Hart is, I don't know if he's top five, but he's got to be around there somewhere. So essentially, all three of your wings are top five in minutes played. I feel like that's going to add up to the Knicks. And then Jalen Brunson's being asked to do a lot. Miles McBride just hasn't been as good as he was last year. He got up to a great start, but McBride was very reliable last season, especially as a starter. It just hasn't been there. He hasn't played bad by any means, but he just hasn't taken that next leap that I would have liked. So now you're asking more to Brunson. Now, Cam Payne's definitely stepped up, and I would say Payne's been even better than McBride, and that Payne had, like, it's 10 points, and he's been shooting the ball well. I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Payne's over 40 from three this year. I definitely think he is. He's at 41. So Cam Payne in 15 minutes is giving the Knicks a lot of scoring, but it's just not enough. Like, this team needs more depth. They need more help at that on that side of the ball, and hopefully they can do that. But I just think the reason why the Knicks aren't defending as well as I'd like is just because of the fatigue. Because it's not just playing minutes; it's knowing that, hey, look, we've got to score probably 100 points collectively tonight to even have a chance. I mean, this Knicks starting lineup, if they don't get 100, they're not winning that game. Like, let's see how much they score tonight, guys. So against the Pistons, let's see how many points the starters scored. It was a great game too. We'll start off with Jalen Brunson, the captain. He had 31 points. And then let's go to McHale. He had 27. So 31 plus 27 is 58. And then Cat had 26. So that's what, 84. And then OG 10. Of course, that's going to be 94. And then Josh Hart had 12. So you get 106 points from your starting lineup and you lose. Now, the obvious is that the Pistons shot it like at a ridiculous rate. Like, it's not often a team shoots 44.1% from the three against the Knicks, but still, it's just kind of crazy. That's where the Knicks are at. And if they had gotten a little bit more from the bench, then they would have been in a better spot. Like 10 minutes, Precious, you like to get a couple of buckets. Miles McBride, I need more than 3 points in 17 minutes too. And then Shamet played just 4 minutes. But yeah, it's looking like this is going to be the Knicks rotation moving forward. When Mitch comes back, that's going to be more depth. But, Cat, he played 43 minutes. Cat's probably going to play, I would say, 38, 39 minutes, which only gives Mitchell Robinson, 9 minutes off of the bench. So that's my thing about Mitch is, where's he even going to play? Are they going to do some minutes with Cat and Mitch? I mean, I don't really know, but all I do know is that the Knicks they need to get going, man. They can't consistently get it done. But back to back against the Pistons, you can't be too surprised they lost, but hopefully they can bounce back. But man, I mean, just looking at where the Knicks were at last season versus this season, I felt more confident last year than I do right now. I think the lineup overall is better and more talented, but the last year's team just had way more depth. So yeah, all right, guys.